Sony's PC port era is reportedly over. PlayStation Studios boss Hermen Hulst told staff the strategy was losing money, walling Ghost of Yotei and Saros back behind the PS5. The pivot that defined PlayStation's last 5 years lasted exactly long enough to disappoint the people who built gaming PCs around it. Rewind to 2020. Sony quietly admitted 90 million PS4s could not pay for the next generation of prestige games. Horizon hit Steam, then Days Gone, God of War, Spider-Man, Returnal. The pitch was simple. A 4-year-old console-exclusive printing money on PC is free money. Per Jason Schreier, Hulst told an internal town hall that PC releases were inconsistent, did not generate enough revenue, and pulled IP away from PlayStation's own platform. The phrase relayed by Push Square is short and bleak. Past tense, no rollout plan, done. The did not make enough money line is the part worth interrogating. Sony does not publicly break out PC revenue. The Horizon and God of War PC launches were widely reported as successes at the time. Apparently, that is not the version of success that justifies the strategy now. The inconsistent part is more honest. God of War Ragnarok arrived on PC 2 years late and underwhelmed. The Last of Us Part 1 launched in a rough state and was patched for months. The pattern of botched ports is real. The conclusion Sony has drawn from it is the question. Ghost of Yotei is the obvious casualty. The original Tsushima got a Steam release that performed well, so the sequel was the default candidate for a follow-up port. Now it is reportedly staying on PS5. The sequel to the port that worked is the port that will not happen. Saros is the other one. Housemarque's follow-up to Returnal was exactly the kind of mid-budget tentpole the port strategy was supposedly designed to support. A studio Sony bought because PC players loved Returnal is now making a game PC players will not see. There is one giant carve-out. Multiplayer titles are reportedly unaffected. Marathon, Marvel Tokon, anything live service still ships to PC because the math there depends on population, Twitch, and streamers. The single-player audience on PC is, apparently, the optional one. Which is funny, because Sony's biggest recent PC hit was a multiplayer game. Helldivers 2 was widely reported as the fastest-selling PlayStation Studios title in history, almost entirely on Steam. The takeaway Sony has drawn is that single-player on PC is the problem. Sure. There is a strategic argument here. Console exclusives sell hardware. If you can buy Ghost of Yotei on a PC you already own, you do not buy a PS5. That is the Nintendo playbook. The catch is Nintendo does not chase Hollywood tier budgets for its narrative games. That is the contradiction Sony has not solved. The budgets that justified PC ports also need PC revenue to recoup. Pulling the ports does not lower the budgets. It just removes a column from the income side of the spreadsheet. For PC players, the practical question is whether anything already in development gets cancelled or quietly buried. Push Square's reporting suggests the pipeline is over for narrative games, but the fate of individual projects is unconfirmed. Bloodborne PC, the meme, remains a meme. The bigger pattern is uglier. This is one more publisher pulling back on a multi-platform strategy it recently called a pillar. Walled gardens are coming back into fashion. The brief window where every prestige game went everywhere is closing while we watch. My honest read is that the post-2020 plan never had a clear thesis behind it. Sony threw ports at Steam, watched the numbers, and decided perceived hardware cannibalization outweighed the revenue. Whether that math actually works will only show up 2 earnings reports from now. If you want one line to remember, it is this. The most expensive games in the industry now sell to the smallest possible audience by design. That is not a comeback for exclusives. That is an admission that nothing else worked. That's your patch notes for today. Subscribe so you don't miss daily gaming news.